So before I go ahead and begin ranking the weapons from Tomb Raider 1 to 3, I think it's first important to consider certain aspects of the weapons, including their damage, usefulness, and even things like how scarce the ammunition is, or how often you're actually going to be using the weapon. So without further ado, let's get into the Tomb Raider 1 to 3 weapons tier list. First on the list here we have the automatic pistols from Tomb Raider 2. Now you do find these on the level of Venice. I think these weapons are quite powerful. They serve nicely moving into the kind of middle levels, but they do drop off quite hard as the later levels come and you go against more difficult enemies such as the Yetis or the Snow Goons, for example. So for that reason I'm going to place the automatic pistols in at good. Next up we have one of everyone's favourite weapons from the Tomb Raider series, that is of course the Desert Eagle from Tomb Raider 3. I think it's very easy where to place this weapon. It's an absolute monster when it comes to damage. The ammunition pickup is plentiful and this thing is just excellent in every scenario. It can one-shot most enemies, so without a doubt the Desert Eagle is going into the perfect category. Following on from there, we have the grenade launcher. Now, I am aware there is a grenade launcher from Tomb Raider 2 and Tomb Raider 3, but I'll just be using the grenade launcher as a whole. Now, this weapon also has a very good place. I would say it is more effective on Tomb Raider 2 than it is on Tomb Raider 3, especially due to the boss fight, where you can kind of just hide from the dragon and blast away at it until you have defeated it. So the grenade launcher is powerful in both of the Tomb Raiders. The ammunition is good, and obviously you can also get the grenade launcher straight on level 1 of the Great Wall of Tomb Raider 2, so that also adds to the points of it there. For that, I'm going to have to place this in at the amazing ranking. This next one, if anyone does watch my live streams, knows my absolute disdain for the Harpoon. This weapon without doubt is probably the most useless weapon in the whole of the Tomb Raider series. I was thinking, what are the benefits of this weapon? What are the pros? Yes, it can shoot underwater, and that's about it. And I say shoot, it's more of a tickle. This thing does very low damage. Ammunition is scarce. It can miss, and it even needs to be reloaded. So for them reasons, it is probably no surprise the Harpoon is going right at the bottom in the worst ranking category. Moving on here now for the M16. This is more of a unique weapon. I do understand it has a large damage output. The only drawback to using this M16 is it is quite clunky to use. You kind of have to just be either walking or running. You can't really stop, or the gun will stop firing, and it takes a long time to equip this weapon as well. However, I'm aware of the damage is massive, so with all them points into consideration, I would probably give the M16 in at the amazing rank. Now, my personal favourite weapons from the Tomb Raider 1 to 3 series is the Magnums from Tomb Raider 1. Now, extra points for this weapon just to the crisp and beautiful sound they make whenever you do fire them. They can be found multiple times throughout Tomb Raider 1. Obviously there's Colosseum, there's Palace Midas, and then again on Tomb of Tehokan where you finally kill Pierre. The damage is good all throughout the game. They're probably, however, not in the same category in my opinion as the grenade launcher, as the M16, certainly not that of the Desert Eagle, and to me they are Tomb Raider 1's version of the automatic pistols from Tomb Raider 2, so I'm going to place it next to there in the good category. Coming up next, we have the MP5 from Tomb Raider 3. Now, this is almost like a mimic of the M16, I would say, from Tomb Raider 2. I think it's less used, and I do actually think it's a little bit worse. It's a little bit more awkward to use. The ammunition is quite scarce, and I can never find any use case for it. Whenever playing Tomb Raider 3, there's always better weapons that I think suit the job more than the MP5. So I'm not going to place it as high as the M16. I'm going to bring it down a little bit there, and just place it in the good category. Following on, we do have the pistols. Now, the pistols are obviously the starting weapon of every Tomb Raider game from 1 to 3. They do a very medium amount of damage. They do have a perk as to the fact that they have infinite ammunition, but it doesn't really matter later on when you have such a variety of guns, and if you've been playing through it normally, will often have the ammunition to go with it as well, so they can't really breach into that good category. For that reason, I think they're best placed in at the average rank there. We have quite a strange weapon up on the next one, and that is in the form of the rocket launcher or the bazooka from Tomb Raider 3. Now this is, for my opinion, a really strange weapon to have in the game. I cannot actually think of any time where the rocket launcher is the best gun to use. Maybe for Puna, because he's completely stationary, but for everything else the gun is just slow, the reload takes forever, there's hardly any ammunition. Yes, it does big damage, but let's be honest, who's ever hitting with this thing? It's quite an underwhelming weapon, and I'm not sure if it has a place within the Tomb Raider 3 game. So yeah, for that reason, I'm also going to go ahead and place this, along with pistols, in at the average rank. For this next weapon, it's a loved weapon of mine. It is the shotgun. This weapon, I think, is an absolute beast. Obviously, up close, it does a ridiculous amount of damage. This is always going to be your best friend when up close and personal with enemies. No other weapon come close to competing with this. The ammunition, it doesn't have the most ammunition available, but it has a good enough amount for it to always be there when you need it in them close level engagements. For that reason, I think I'm going to place this, perhaps unexpected level, in at amazing. So for the final one, we have the Uzis. Now, the Uzis are a very iconic weapon. Obviously in Tomb Raider 1 it is the final weapon pickup you get. The strongest weapons on Tomb Raider 1 by kind of standard. However, very effective going on till Tomb Raider 2 and Tomb Raider 3. There's a lot of ammunition available for these weapons. I mean, when you collect them in Tomb Raider 1, that is the weapons you have to be using kind of on from there if you want to be in good stead and sort of progress at a decent pace. It's the same with Tomb Raider 2. However, some arguments could be made that the grenade launcher at M16 become the really late game weapons. And then with Tomb Raider 3, it does kind of go back to the Uzis. If you don't have any ammunition left in the Desert Eagle, the Uzis are a good substitute that will also help you progress through the game. So with that said, I'm going to place the Uzis, probably not too surprisingly, in on the rank of amazing. There we have the weapons ranking tier list, in my opinion, from Tomb Raider 1 to 3. Thank you if you did get this far and watching. Please do subscribe and also drop a like on the video and let me know what your favourite weapon is and what your least favourite weapon is from Tomb Raider 1 to 3. Thank you for watching.